Why would you want to spit in a tube on vacation? That was her first response. We were in Utah. Cabin, road trip, 2 weeks before the wedding. Just us. No phones. No schedule. Just enough time for me to start thinking about legacy, family, and the giant gap in my bloodline. I was adopted, raised by step-parents who never talked about my biological history. All I had was a first name on a birth certificate that looked like it had been faxed through a war zone. So when I saw the DNA kit at the gas station, cheesy, overpriced, probably half accurate, I picked up two. Come on, it'll be fun. Yours will probably come back Viking. Mine's a coin toss. Riley gave me a tight smile and said nothing. Later that night, I brought it up again while we were brushing teeth. We've got the time. And you're always talking about your great-grandfather's homestead. You might find a second cousin in Montana or something. Sam, I don't think it's a good idea. Why? She looked up, mouth half full of toothpaste, and shrugged. I just don't like sending my DNA to random companies. What if they clone me? That wasn't a real reason. That was a deflection. And I knew Riley. She wasn't paranoid about stuff like that. I pushed once more. You're marrying a guy who doesn't even know if he's Irish or German. Don't you want to know what kind of family you're getting? She blinked, hesitated, then gave me a sideways hug and said, Fine. For you. We mailed them off from a truck stop near Zion 2 days later. 10 days after that, the results came in. I opened mine first. Mostly what I expected, Northern European, some scattered matches I didn't recognize. But then, right below the ancestry chart, closed genetic match detected, possible second-degree relative. The name underneath was hers. Riley A., my fiancée. I looked across the room. She hadn't touched her phone yet. You gonna check yours? She glanced up from her book like I just asked her to dig a grave. Maybe later. I'm tired. You're not curious? She hesitated again. Too long. It's just dumb algorithms. You know these things screw up all the time. She stood up fast. Too fast. Slipped her phone into her pocket. Want some tea? Riley, did you see your results? No. Lie. I waited until she was in the shower. Used the laptop. She'd left it open. Clicked the email link. Riley A. Match. Sam W. Second-degree relative. Verified via maternal line. Her notes had a highlighted field I hadn't seen before. Previously marked as known relation. Do not alert match. I sat back in the chair. Felt the weight of it settle like concrete in my chest. She knew. Not just today. Not just when she saw the result. She knew before. And she married into it anyway. She came out of the shower with a towel wrapped high, like she was hiding more than just skin. Did you say something while I was in there? I stared at the steam on the window. No. Just thinking. You're not still looking at the DNA stuff, are you? There it was. Her voice. Too specific. Like she was trying to steer the narrative before I asked. Why wouldn't I be? She gave that little laugh. The one she used when a lie was half-cooked. I told you, they always mess up those things. It's just some cousin overlap. My family's got, like, 100 people spread all over the Midwest. It's noise. She grabbed her phone off the counter. I watched her unlock it fast, practiced. The screen was tilted away from me. Want to do pancakes tomorrow, she said, already scrolling. I think the place near the Ridge Trail opens at 8. Sure, I said, deadpan. Unless we're related to the owner. She flinched. Tiny, but real. That night, she went to bed early. Said her head hurt. I stayed up. Laptop open. Blank Word doc on the screen, but my eyes were on her purse. Specifically, the folder I'd seen earlier. Cream-colored. Clipped shut with a small gold binder. I'd thought nothing of it until now. At 2:07 a.m., I pulled it out. Inside. A will template. A POA form power of attorney. Inside. A drafted quitclaim deed. The beneficiary field? Riley and Holloway. Listed as future spouse and sole heir of the W. Estate. I froze. The W. Estate wasn't just a name. It was my last name. I never talked about it, because I barely knew anything about it. A property out east that had belonged to some biological great-uncle. Worth a fortune, supposedly. Old money, old land. Lawyers had called me once, said I'd inherited the main structure and surrounding acres when the last surviving family member died 2 years ago. I never sold it. Never touched it. Didn't even tell Riley about it. So how the hell was her name on this document? How the hell did she even know it existed? I snapped photos of everything and put it back exactly as I'd found it. I didn't sleep. And the next morning, she didn't mention pancakes. She acted like everything was fine. Like she wasn't planning to marry me, milk me, and walk away with every square inch of something I never even asked for. "You okay?" she asked over coffee. "Yeah, just a headache." "You sure?" "Positive." She changed the subject again. Too fast. And this time, I let her, because I wasn't finished watching. She was humming while folding laundry. It was that same song from the night we met, some old Fleetwood Mac track she claimed she randomly loved. That night, I thought it was fate. Now, I wondered if she just curated it like everything else. While she fluffed towels, I sat on the floor, pretending to scroll Zillow listings. In reality, I was buried 5 browser tabs deep in genealogy forums. One thing stuck in my mind. Previously marked as known relation, do not alert match. That was manual, which meant someone, Riley, knew ahead of time and told the system to flag me as already known so I wouldn't be notified. But why would a woman who supposedly had no clue about my biological background do that? Unless I searched my name across public ancestry boards. Used the handle my bio parents once had on old adoption records, S_Weiler83. It pinged. Not often, but enough. 3 years ago. A thread titled, "Searching for Lost Maternal Line, Weiler Surname in New York/Connecticut pre-1980?" And there was a reply. From an account named _hollow88. "I believe we may be distantly connected through my great-aunt Marion's side. Would love to connect. Do you have any old family documents or baptism records?" That was 6 months before I met Riley at a local fundraiser for veterans' families. She said she worked in nonprofit marketing. Said she'd never really dated anyone like me. Said I made her feel safe. What she didn't say, that she tracked me. I dug deeper. That handle, _hollow88, had posted 14 times in different family search threads. Every one of them connected to inheritance properties, trust fund lineages, or deceased family members with open claims. I wasn't her first. I was just the first with no real parents to warn me. When she came into the room, I clicked back to the Zillow screen fast. Looking at cabins again, she asked, wiping her hands on her jeans. "Just dreaming. We'll get there. After the wedding, things will be easier. You'll see." She kissed my temple, like she meant it. But now I knew better. Her affection wasn't free. It was strategy. Pressure applied exactly where it needed to be. She wasn't planning to build a life with me. She was building a paper trail that ended in a signature mine. That night, I checked the old estate records from the law firm that had contacted me 2 years ago. There it was, one signature away from her owning everything. And the name next to mine, listed as backup beneficiary? Cameron H. Her ex. The name Cameron H. stuck in my brain like shrapnel. I'd heard it once, offhand, when Riley was 2 glasses into a bottle of wine during one of our early dates. He was nothing serious, she'd said. Just a guy I used to work with. Long story. She never mentioned him again. Now he was listed as the alternate beneficiary on a deed worth over $3 million in land and future development rights. Not nothing. Not just some ex. She'd kept him close. Legally. I ran his name through a people search engine. Cameron Holtz. Real estate consultant. Formerly licensed in 3 states. Lost his Georgia license for misrepresentation of documents during a probate case. Translation: forging wills. He'd been sued twice. Settled quietly both times. Low profile online now, but still operating, mostly behind shell companies and limited partnerships. I cross-referenced his email with the document metadata from Riley's laptop. Found 3 files where Cameron's Gmail was listed as a last editor. A property transfer form. A POA authorization. A trust restructure draft dated 2 weeks ago. The last document was titled Weiler Trust, Urgent Final Edits.pdf. I stared at the screen. This wasn't just Riley chasing a payday. This was a premeditated estate transfer. And Cameron was the architect. She was going to get me to marry her, walk into that lawyer's office, and sign over the estate under the pretense of a joint marital trust. After that, she'd let it sit quiet for 6 months, file a no-contest divorce in a favorable county, and disappear with everything. It was so clean it made me sick. That night, I acted normal. We made pasta. She wore that soft green shirt that always pulled my eyes. I pretended to be tired. Let her pick the movie. Halfway through, I asked casually, "You ever talk to Cameron anymore?" She didn't flinch. She smiled. "Oh God, no. He's ancient history." "Why?" "Just popped into my head. Think he ever married?" "Probably. Or died in a vape store." She laughed. I watched her lie like she'd practiced it in a mirror. But here's the part that really hit. She didn't know I'd seen it all. And I wasn't going to confront her. Not yet. Because if she wanted a signature, I wanted a stage. She wanted a groom? I gave her one. Smiles over coffee. "Yes, dear, let's look at Venus." Laughter at the realtor's jokes. Kisses before bed. I became the man she'd been pretending to love. I booked the chapel she liked, that hilltop one with the barn and string lights. Said all the right things about the honeymoon. Even let her pick the caterer and talked about custom vows. All while I was writing a script of my own. 3 moves. I contacted the estate attorney. Asked for a full review of the trust documents and any recent access logs. Didn't say why. Just told them I'd had some concerns. I hired a PI in Atlanta. Told him to follow Cameron Holt's full detail. Finances. Affiliations. Digital activity. He got back to me with a Dropbox folder of gold. I started planting fake info. Left a draft email accidentally open on my laptop with phrases like confirming my intent to sell the East Tract after marriage. She bit. I caught her copying files from my desktop 2 nights later. She thought I was asleep. I wasn't. The PI called me back on a Friday. I'll never forget the way he sounded. "You need to see this for yourself." Cameron had created a shell company, Wincroft Assets LLC, 4 months ago. Guess whose name was listed as secondary officer? Riley A. Holloway. The mailing address? A P.O. box 30 minutes from our cabin. Their plan wasn't hypothetical. It was in motion. And the documents she wanted me to sign? They would give her legal authority to represent me in land transactions. Under that LLC, with Cameron as the managing partner. By Sunday, I had what I needed. I printed every file, every chat log, screenshots, location pings, even a photo the PI had taken of Cameron and Riley sitting together at a bar 2 weeks ago. Her hand on his thigh. No rings. No shame. Monday morning, she made pancakes. "You've been so sweet lately," she said. "Like?" "I don't know. You feel different." "Just in love," I said. "It's all hitting me. The wedding. You. Us. That makes me happy." She smiled. "I've waited my whole life for this." "Me too, Riley. Just not the way you think." We weren't getting married at a venue anymore. I told Riley I wanted something more personal. Said the chapel didn't feel right. Too noisy. Too staged. Told her it would mean the world to me if we tied the knot at the estate my biological family left me, the one she'd been quietly trying to steal. She lit up like a Christmas tree. "You really want that place?" "It's symbolic," I said. "Feels like it's finally mine. You've never even set foot on it." "Exactly." I suggested something small. Just her, me, and a local officiant. She offered to bring a notary, just in case we needed to sign anything. How convenient. I had a better idea. I hired 2 attorneys. One to pose as the officiant. One to serve as a legal witness. Both had copies of the documents she'd edited. Both knew what to look for. And both were ready for what was coming. The day arrived. Clear skies. Quiet road. That dusty turnoff that leads to the main gates of the Weiler estate. She wore white, of course. Nothing too formal, just enough to sell the illusion of simplicity and love. She brought the envelope herself. Brown folder. Legal weight. She thought she was slick, sliding it under her bouquet like it was nothing. The officiant greeted us warmly. We stood under the old oak tree. "Do you, Sam Weiler, take Riley E?" "Hold up," I said, reaching into my coat. "I've got something too." I handed her a black binder. Inside, the emails to Cameron, the shell company records, the fake LLC, her chat logs, the surveillance photos, the real notary logs showing backdated signatures, the signed lease agreement on a condo in Miami, in her name and Cameron's. She didn't open it. She didn't have to. She just stared at the cover. "Where did you? You thought I wouldn't check?" I said. "You thought I'd just sign and smile?" Her eyes shifted to the officiant. "He's not real, is he?" Real enough to submit this to the district attorney's office, I said. Real enough to file civil fraud charges. Identity theft. Real estate conspiracy. Sam. Don't. Not now. She took a step back. Another. Then she did the thing I never expected. She dropped the folder. Right there in the dirt. It wasn't supposed to be like this, she whispered. I was going to tell you. When? After I signed? After the check cleared. I didn't mean to fall in love with you. I stared at her. You didn't fall in love, Riley. You fell into character. Big difference. She walked away. No screaming. No tears. Just a limp white dress trailing behind her through the dust and weeds of a property she would never own. And me? I watched her go. For the first time, I felt like the land finally belonged to someone who earned it. 3 days passed. No texts. No calls. No, I'm sorry. No legal retaliation. I figured maybe she got the message. Maybe she left. Then I checked my phone and saw a name trending on Facebook. Riley Holloway Weiler, hyphenated. She hadn't disappeared. She'd gone viral. I tapped the link. There she was, on a podcast I'd never heard of, one of those new age, women's empowerment shows with incense smoke and neon cursive fonts. The episode title? Left at the Altar. How I Survived Financial Abuse and Male Gaslighting. My name wasn't mentioned. Not directly, but anyone who knew us could connect the dots. She told the host how she'd built a life with a man who turned out to be a manipulative monster, that she'd been pressured into signing documents, and how she discovered massive lies about his past and hidden money just days before the wedding. And the kicker? I had to walk away. I did it to save myself. Comments poured in. People crying emojis, clapping hands. Brave queen. Protect your peace. You were too good for him anyway. I laughed so hard I nearly cracked a tooth. The woman who tried to steal my family's legacy and launder it through her ex-boyfriend was now some kind of martyr to the algorithm. And the worst part? It was working. I got a DM that night from an old coworker. Hey man, is this true? So I gave her 48 hours. Sent her a single text. Take it down. You know I can end you with one email. She didn't reply. Instead, she doubled down. Posted a clip of herself crying over wedding photos. The one of me kissing her forehead while she held my hand in that fake, tender pose. I remembered it. It was the day after she edited the POA draft behind my back. He never saw me, she said on camera. He only saw property. That's when I stopped playing nice. I emailed a zipped file to 3 journalists. Small-town business outlets. Nothing national. Just enough for it to spread where it would hurt. The title? Heir to Weiler Estate Nearly Defrauded in Marriage Scam. Inside the staged relationship and paper trail. Attached. Screenshots. Legal documents. Her fake company. The Miami condo lease. And surveillance photos of her with Cameron. One of the journalists called it the cleanest digital sting I've ever seen. They published. The podcast deleted her episode. And Riley? She went silent again. Her silence lasted 12 days. Then at 2:12 a.m., my phone buzzed. No caller ID. Voicemail. I hit play. Sam, I guess you got what you wanted. I hope it made you feel powerful. But you never understood. I didn't lie to hurt you. I lied to survive. You were never supposed to matter this much. That's the part that ruined everything. And if you think this is over, it's not. She paused. I could hear traffic. Sirens in the background. Then she ended it with a whisper. Cameron wasn't even my first plan. Click. I listened to it 3 times. Not a single sorry. Just control. Manipulation. A veiled threat. I checked my back cameras. Reviewed email logs. Scanned every account. Nothing moved. No activity. No files touched. She hadn't hacked anything. She was just reminding me who she'd been this whole time. The next morning, I got a package in the mail. No return address. Handwritten. Inside, a framed photo of the 2 of us at the estate gates. And a note. Just 1 sentence. Funny how quick love turns to strategy. That was her last message. Not an admission. Not remorse. Just another chess move after checkmate. I called the PI. Asked him if he could verify Riley's location. He called back 3 hours later. She's still with Cameron, he said. But they're not together. At least not like that. What then? She's trying to flip on him. Cut a deal with a firm in Atlanta to expose how he's laundered properties under multiple LLCs. She's trying to come out clean. Of course. She'd failed with me. Now she was repackaging herself as a whistleblower. A victim again. The woman who tried to warn everyone. I closed my laptop. This wasn't a love story. It wasn't even a con. It was an audition. And I'd been the callback. I didn't press charges. I didn't send a cease and desist. Didn't call her parents. Didn't make a scene. I just let her run with the rope she'd woven. Over the next 6 months, I did exactly 3 things. Had her removed as a listed partner from all estate filings. Sold the LLC she tried to hijack, back to myself, under a new shell. Moved into the east wing of the Weiler estate alone, no ceremony. The property she tried to steal? I lived in it. Renovated it. Restored the family name above the iron gates. Weiler. No hyphens. No ghosts. And Riley? The podcast crowd abandoned her. The empowerment followers unfollowed. She tried launching a blog, Rebuild with Riley, but it tanked after 3 articles and a Reddit thread exposing her background. Cameron got raided in March. Tax fraud, wire fraud, property manipulation. She wasn't charged, but her name was on enough paperwork that no one in real estate would touch her again. One afternoon in May, a letter came to the estate. No envelope, just a folded piece of lined notebook paper. My name on the front. Inside. You could have ruined me. You didn't. I don't know if that's mercy or worse, but I dream about you. Every night. No name. But I recognized the handwriting. I burned it. Didn't even flinch. Some nights I walk the perimeter of the property barefoot. Cold stone, wet grass, no lights. I listen to the silence and think about how much noise she used to make. Every word, every touch, every lie. She built her life on performance. Scripted intimacy. Choreographed affection. And when the stage collapsed, she stood alone in the spotlight, waiting for someone to cue the next line. But there's no encore in hell. She always said she wanted to be remembered. Not famous. Not rich. Just remembered. Said it like it was some noble goal, like being unforgettable was better than being good. So I granted her wish. Her name's still out there. Buried in court filings. Real estate registries. Archived in podcast audio and deleted blog posts cached in Google's memory. People whisper it when they talk about failed schemes and women who went too far. There's no mugshot. No trial. But everyone in her orbit knows what she did. And that's worse. She moved twice. Tried changing her last name once. Didn't stick. She couldn't get a job in sales, marketing, or finance. She applied at a hotel chain front desk and got ghosted when they did a background check. Even her sister cut ties. I know because she called me once. Said Riley blamed me for everything. Said she still tells people she was set up. But here's the truth. I didn't expose her. She exposed herself. I didn't hack her. I read what she forgot to delete. I didn't sabotage her career. I just let her show her ambition to the wrong mirror. People ask me if I miss her. Miss what? The fake tears? The way she moaned my name like a sales pitch? The late-night kisses after she'd finished forging legal documents with another man? I don't miss her. I miss the man I was before I met her. Naive. Hopeful. Stupid enough to believe love was something you earned. Now? Now I live quiet. Estate gates closed. Lawyers paid in advance. No social media. No dating apps. Just acreage and air. I rebuilt the property room by room. Stripped the wallpaper she wanted. Removed the rose-colored tiles she picked. Burned the vanity she once said made her feel like a queen. Last month, I got a handwritten invitation in the mail. Another wedding. Not hers. A woman I once knew. Someone who knew me before Riley. Someone kind. Quiet. Real. I might go. Not to find love again. Not yet. But to remember what it felt like to look at someone and not wonder what they were calculating. Riley wanted a legacy. I gave her one. She'll always be the woman who lost the game she invented.